Here now to talk more about Larry King is NewsNation anchor Ashleigh Banfield. She was a former colleague of his and a guest on Larry King Live several times. Ashleigh, it's good to see you. Welcome to NewsNation.
Hey guys, good to see you as well. And I'm sorry it's under these circumstances.
Yeah, well, what are your memories of working with a legend like Larry King?
Well, you couldn't walk through any of the CNN facilities, whether they were in Los Angeles or New York or Washington or Atlanta, without seeing Larry King plastered all over the walls. And, you know, he just loomed large over that network, even after he left. I mean, he really was iconic, not just to Americans who waited every night to see who was Larry going to have on. He was also iconic to the rest of us when I was at CNN and my colleagues. We felt his presence even after he left.
Oh, absolutely. Ashleigh, it's Nicole here. You know, Larry and his suspenders were on the air for decades. What do you think, why was he able to maintain such a long career? What do you think it was about him that really had that staying power?
You know, steady as she goes. I really want to say that's what it is, Nicole. He came in without a lot of flash bang. He had a solid foundation. And when he started his show, I dare say it was in the same year that I graduated high school, so I remember it well, 1985. He just brought the goods. You know, Larry always had the key guests who America wanted to hear from. And so I think that's why he stood the test of time. He delivered. But I think there's also something really important that I think we all feel right now if we're not articulating, and that is that Larry listened, and I don't think many people are listening these days. I'm really thrilled about NewsNation and what you're doing and what we're going to be doing together, because there's just not enough listening on cable news these days. There's a lot of yelling and there's a lot of echoing, but listening to people who maybe aren't like you or don't have the same opinion or have something really fascinating to say if you just give them a chance. Larry did that.
Well, that brings me to the next question. I was going to ask you what your show on NewsNation is inspired by Larry King, a long-form show with a variety of different types of guests, really getting to the meat of things with long-form interviews. I wanted to ask you what about Larry King inspired you in terms of his interviewing style, but I think you've answered it.
You know, it's honestly, it's everything. I have to be really, you know, blunt here. Some people used to criticize him for not preparing for his interviews, and his producers used to go crazy trying to get him briefed for interviews, but he was very candid about how he would prosecute his day. He had breakfast with his same mates at the diner every morning, no fail, and really preferred not to read the books of the guests or maybe see the movies of the guests or even read the, you know, the latest headlines. He just wanted to have that innate curiosity happen live before your eyes. And I have to be honest, I really think it did. And I think America got a genuine authenticity of Larry's desire to learn more with the guest, not with someone else's prism of the guest. So for me, you know, in 33 years of asking questions and being a journalist and, you know, being in the field, being on the set, I always wanted to do that show. I wanted to do the long form, get to know you, let you talk interview without a countdown in my ear, you know, 6 minutes and let's get 10 graphics in. So I'm really thrilled. I mean, I'm not going to lie. My hope for the show was to have Larry as the first guest, and we were working on it. And I'm just crushed for his family. I'm crushed for the rest of us who don't get to see him anymore and listen to that voice, the voice for the hour. You know, I love to think about him in fun terms, you know, and because he really did bring a lot of delight to us all.
Well, Ashleigh, he certainly did. I know you talked about his innate curiosity, his ability to listen, to really listen. And, you know, we know that those celebrity tributes are pouring in tonight and just really across so many sections of popular culture, politics, sports. Just can you talk about, you know, how much this really speaks to his ability as an interviewer?
Well, you know, his mantra was, I'll probably butcher it, so I'm sorry, but I'll do my best here and paraphrase. He said, "I never learned anything while I was talking." And so I think he just went by that mission statement every night and was able to draw out some of the most fascinating things, like the interview. I know everybody says the Marlon Brando interview when he was kissed. that stood out. But I think the interview that really stood out for me the most was Nixon, because he's such a mystery to me. And to see Nixon talk to Larry about the future, not the past. You know, Nixon really tried to, you know, impart on Larry that I don't think about the past. A lot of people think about their past. They get together and they want to reminisce, especially as we get older, we want to reminisce. But Nixon was really clear to Larry that his focus, and maybe it was self-preservation, was to look forward and to think about the future. And for the moment that he said that, I just kind of, my heart sort of sank for that president. Say what you will about Nixon, but he was a man and he has feelings, and he went through a lot. And I think we will all look at him through a different lens through the passing of every president who leaves that office. We will all look at every president a little differently. You know, we change our own paradigms.
Well, Ashleigh, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to your show to be able to watch you interview people in depth that way, and we appreciate your insight about Larry King. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, guys. It's great to be with you. Thanks for inviting me.